Welcome in on a Wednesday night. This is TNCRadio.live, and this is Clutch Time Sports. And now here are your hosts, Anderson and Banker.
Thank you, Mr. Tom Kelly. Good evening, all you wonderful truckers out there on the highways, byways, and freeways. I hope you're getting to where you need to go, to your destination. I'm Ivan Anderson, along with my main man, Mr. Josh Banker. We are sitting in this beautiful state of California, beautiful city that we live in. I guess I would say I didn't want to say the city because there's many cities out here, but hey, it's 60 degrees. We're getting some cool temperatures, and JB, I can still see the snow on the mountains. It's pretty nice to be in April, and it's still there.
I'm not going to lie, though. It's been gray all day, and all I want to do is go take a nap. I can't stand it because we've had a lot of people gone from our office today out on PTO or out in doing meetings and stuff, and so if you don't move around in here long enough, the lights start going out on you. And when it's dark and gray all day, it gets really dark in this building when your lights start going off. So I've gotten a lot of exercise today because I had to get up and move around and trigger those lights. But been a fun start to this week already. How was your Easter?
Kind of a yawny day. Easter was fun, and we didn't get a chance to. Yeah, that's right. Easter was a blast. Lazy, somewhat. My son had one of his teammates over. But outside of church, it was kind of anticlimactic.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, let's just kind of, make dinner, relax, fall asleep a little bit. Kind of a miniature Thanksgiving.
I will say, though, I hope it's a sign of things to come because we had a Saturday service that I sang in our choir for, and then we had 3 services on Sunday, which I also sang in. So I was pretty busy, but I tell you what, that was the fullest I've seen our sanctuary post-COVID. And
that's nice. I'm
really curious to see how things go this upcoming weekend to see if any of that is, left over from last week. It was a great sign to see everybody out and about. And I don't know, this is the first Easter, at least to me, post-COVID, where everything feels like it's like, I don't want to say back to normal because there'll never be a new normal. It's always going to be a new normal now, but
yeah,
it felt like the Easter it should have been,
When you come from that perspective, yeah, our church was packed. It was almost standing room only, and I was even surprised at that, but I welcome it. And maybe there is some change that's coming. Maybe people are looking to talk to, get involved with, and turn in that direction. But I'm never one that likes to push what I believe on people. I just like to live my life the way I'm supposed to and hope that others see the way that I carry myself and my family will rub off on them or them, or have them get curious about what it is that I have.
And we're unapologetic about stating that on this show, just in case,
absolutely.
There was any doubt in that.
Ain't no doubt, baby. Hey, okay, before we jump to the NBA real quick, I got to say something about the WNBA, and it's really kind of funny, but does anybody know when the WNBA had its draft?
Last week.
Wrong. Tom, can you tell me?
Does anybody really care?
Or it was a couple days ago. It was.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry, not last week. I mean, today is Wednesday already of this week. But yeah, wasn't it on Monday or was it yesterday already?
It was 2 days ago. You called it. It was on Monday.
Okay.
And just to give you an idea, I'm hoping this new crop of girls who seem to be girls are going to maybe help vitalize this. As I said that very quickly.
I caught it.
But Aaliyah.
We caught it. There was no subtlety in that, but yes, go ahead.
But Aaliyah Boston, who is a phenomenal player for the Gamecocks and Don Staley, she was really the talk of the town, and I'm hoping that she and the other top 5 girls would be a big change and start something new that's going to happen in the WNBA. But that's all I wanted to say about that. I got to immediately turn my attention to the NBA. And
got it.
Not the W. Got to drop the W. Did you see the Lakers last night?
I did. I saw the choke job that the Timberwolves pulled off in the 4th quarter and overtime. Yes, as a Warriors fan, I always want to see the Lakers lose. I do. It's just, I will unabashedly admit that. But I cannot be happier as a Warrior fan to have to see the Lakers and Grizzlies go at it for a best of 7 games, because I cannot wait to see how much Dylan Brooks gets under the skin of the Lakers. I can't wait to see the reaction of LeBron and AD against John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. There are so many fun, intriguing first-round matchups, especially in the West, that to me, we don't even have all 4 of them yet, because we still got another play-in game tonight, and then Minnesota will host whoever wins between the Thunder and Pelicans this evening. But I tell you, 1 through 8, it's going to be tough getting out of that Western Conference.
Whoever wins the Western Conference is going to win the championship.
I wouldn't go that far just yet.
I have to. I absolutely have to, because if you look at our best team in the West is the Nuggets with 53 wins. And if you look at the East, I mean, it's a massive spread in the East, and it's very tight in the West. I mean, everybody's within 10 games of each other in the West, maybe even less than that. So I'm excited about what you just said. But here's the thing that I give the Lakers an advantage over the Grizzlies. You have to learn how to win at the professional level. It's not easy to win at that level, and it's not easy to close series. And if you've never done that before, even if you're the better team, if you have not the knowledge or the ability, you will lose a series that you easily should have won. There's no doubt about it. The Grizzlies are younger, have a little bit more talent than the starting 5, but they have no bench. But you're playing against a guy who's been in the league for 20 years, and he knows how to close out, and he knows how to win.
I can't argue any of that. I just would say, as a devil's advocate here, that did the Lakers really close out that game last night, or did the T-Wolves win, or help the Lakers win that game? And the reason I ask that question, because that's been the inconsistency of the Lakers all year long. There's just been yes, they've got experience up the yin-yang. When you got LeBron James on your team, you obviously have, most postseason experience than anybody in the entire league. But he's got a whole new cast around him outside of Anthony Davis that doesn't really know how to win that well. Maybe Dennis Schroeder, but D'Angelo Russell's never been part of a franchise that's been on the winning side. And same with Austin Reeves, and they brought in Tristan Thompson this week, for heaven's sake. I mean, seriously? Like, the Lakers are going to go as LeBron and AD go, for sure. So, whether that's enough that their experience and their savvy can get them past an athletic, hungry Memphis team, that remains to be seen. But I sure hope it goes 7 games, because I will be glued to the TV for the drama that's going to be. I'm sure Dylan Brooks is going to be guarding LeBron James on a myriad of plays. Who's going to guard John Morant for the Lakers? Is it going to be D'Angelo Russell? Maybe. Is it going to be Schroeder? Maybe. There's just so much intrigue that I have in the series, and we haven't even talked about KD versus Russ.
Oh, that's going to be great. Oh my goodness.
Phoenix and the Clippers. Goodness. And I, it's funny. I should have texted our good buddy Joey Lynn about this, because I would have been curious about his thought. But if you're the Clippers and you see Golden State beating the living snot out of Portland on Sunday by 40 points in the third quarter, are you really still wanting to beat Phoenix in the final game of the regular season to get that 5 seed, or would you have rather played Sacramento in the first round of the playoffs if you lose that game? I don't know all the tiebreakers, but I know that if the Warriors and Clippers were tied, which is what they ended up being at the end of the regular season, the Clippers got the 5 seed, the Warriors got the 6 seed. So the Warriors get to go back and forth between San Francisco and Sacramento for a first round series, where the Clippers have to be against Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, CP3. I don't know, just kind of an interesting caveat to all of that.
It really is, and it's going to be very, very fun. And I'm looking forward to see how Russell Westbrook continues to improve everybody has bad seasons, and he's had a couple of bad seasons, but it seems like he's getting his mojo back and he's starting to play better. I guess the question is going to be for Phoenix is defense, because everything goes up a little bit higher, gets a little bit harder. Even in last night games, shots that would normally, that were easy shots in the regular season were very difficult here in the playoffs. So that's going to be interesting to me.
Well, and that goes full circle to my thought about the reason why I wouldn't exactly book the Western Conference winner as the NBA title winner, because you have so many hard matchups throughout the Western Conference. Do you really think the Sixers are going to struggle with the Nets in the first round? Probably not. So I just think there are easier paths for those top three teams in the East to get to the NBA Finals than any team in the West.
Yeah, but I just don't think, because they've never felt that level of play, I think they're going to have a hard time dealing with it when they come out west on a 7-game series.
And that could very well happen.
Yes, it could. Well, coming up next, we've got Mr. Kelly's Corner. We have no idea what he's been cooking on, but we're excited to hear. You're listening to Clutch Time Sports on TNCRadio.live.
I'm Ron Samuels. We put it in reverse gear so you can enjoy the history of popular music and hear the soundtrack of life Wednesdays at 8 Eastern and 7 Central, right after the train station on TNCRadio.live.
Finding a safe place to park your rig at night can be a challenge on the road. The Truckers Network, a membership resource site for trucking companies, company drivers, and owner-operators, proudly partners with Truck Park to offer safe and secure overnight truck parking to all Truckers Network members. Truck Park is the digital truck parking leader and America's fastest-growing truck parking service. The Truckers Network exists to link truck drivers with the best quality trucking products and services the industry has to offer. Finding safe overnight parking is crucial for truck drivers, and many drivers struggle with finding available parking spots. The limited parking availability causes drivers to lose sleep, which poses a safety risk to others on the road. Safe parking is valuable for drivers and the cargo they're transporting. With this partnership, Truckers Network members will have access to a discount code and be able to reserve parking spots in real time along their truck route at a reduced price. Truck Park gives drivers access to parking locations across most of the United States. Simply enter the city and state to view available parking spaces nearest a pickup or delivery point, then pay to reserve. Parking rates vary at each location, with some rates as low as $10. Truck Park is a values-based company that empowers truck drivers while providing a safe and unmatched experience. The company offers a quick way to find and reserve parking spots throughout the U.S. Truck drivers have access to Truck Park's free mobile app to easily begin reserving parking spots based on their truck route. About the Truckers Network. The Truckers Network exists to link truckers and trucking businesses throughout the United States. The company's mission is to make the life of a truck driver easier by connecting drivers to the highest quality trucking products and services to keep their trucks on the road. Great leaders challenge their people not to stop at the first right answer. Tighten the Lug Nuts is the book that will help you move past that first right answer to be more effective, more productive, and more successful. This book serves as a blueprint that can be easily applied by leaders, entrepreneurs, truckers, owner-operators, all of us in our everyday lives. This is one of the best leadership books you can read to help you accelerate towards your personal and professional goals. Plus, a portion of the proceeds will be donated to truckerschristmasgroup.org. Visit TightenTheLugNuts.com to order your copy today.
And welcome back in. We're live on a Wednesday night. This is Clutch Time Sports. I'm Tom Kelly, along with the host of Clutch Time Sports, Anderson and Banker. And guys, we take the second quarter of our show, and without any previous discussion, I drop a question on you that is, there's no right and wrong answer, though it seems Josh gets more of them right than Ivan does.
Wow. Drop the hammer. Okay.
But there's no right and wrong answer. These are opinion questions on, what do you think about certain things going on in sports, and they can. But I think I know where the answers to these questions, tonight's question is going to go. Not completely. I have a pretty good idea, but I'm not sure. And the audience will get a chance to know you a lot better now. So here we go. Are you ready for a little Twilight?
Okay.
Welcome to my special magic time energy machine that bends time and space. Using the power of this machine, I can transport you to an age and opportunity to have the skills and power to play a professional sport. You only have one choice. You are now 18, 19 years old. You are going to have to work hard, but you're going to make it in a professional sport. The question is, and we'll start with Ivan this week since we started with Josh last week, which professional sport, position, and team are you going to play for?
The professional sport would be basketball. The team would be the Lakers, and the position would be point guard.
That's simple. I guess I got that one right. That's kind of what I thought. Now, so I'm going to add a little bit of twist here. Would you rather play now, or would you rather be part of some past team that? Okay, because remember, I can bend space and time, so that I can make it so that you were part of the Magic Johnson era or something like that. I mean, what would you want to be doing?
I would really like to be part of the Magic Johnson era because I think at that time there was more an emphasis on team, and somewhere along the line it just became about the player, and that's where a lot of fans, a lot of teams lose fans because it's more about the individual player than the team.
Very interesting.
If I may, by the way, if I could throw a vote in there for Ivan, I would love to have seen him as the LA Laker point guard in the Shaq Kobe era, because they had Magic. They had Magic
Yes.
back in the 80s and early 90s.
True.
So it would have been fun to see you, as the point guard dishing to Kobe, dishing it into Shaq. I just as good as Derek Fisher was, and he was the perfect point guard for that team.
That's a good point.
When you've got Magic on your team already, you don't need a point guard.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, there's no wrong answer, like Tom said.
Yeah.
Does his answer in any way surprise you?
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's kind of where I thought I'd go. But I really don't know how you'll answer this, Josh. So how about for
I
you?
do.
Well, then since I butted in on your retort there at the end, Ivan, I would be curious to see what you would say before I even answer.
I would say that you would play for the San Francisco Giants, and the position I think that you would enjoy playing for them would really be one of two, because it's really hard. I think you would either want to play center field or shortstop.
Okay. This is actually a very hard question because as a Bay Area sports fan, man, I would have loved to just been the kicker of the San Francisco 49ers during the 80s.
Yeah.
Wow.
With Joe Montana.
I mean, what better seat to have than to be the kicker of the San Francisco 49ers in the 80s?
True.
I would have also loved to have been the starting center for the 2015 to 2020 Warriors.
Really?
You get another front seat to watch Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
That shocked me.
Kevin Durant. I don't need to be the guy. But if it was just for me as far as pure pleasure is concerned, yes, it would have to be a San Francisco Giant. I would have loved to have been the first baseman for the Giants, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Because, as you know, I like to talk.
Replacing Will Clark?
No. This would probably be in the
Bonds era.
In the Bonds era, even though they had JT Snow, which was the guy there. But honestly, maybe the end of Bonds' era, but also at the beginning of the 2020s or 2010s. Sorry, when the Giants
Okay.
went on their 3 World Series in 5-year streak, because they had kind of a rotating door over there at first base between those 5 seasons. I could have fit in there just fine. I would have loved to watch Madison Bumgarner against the Royals in Game 7 of the 2014 World Series. I would have loved to have been on the mound when Brian Wilson strikes out Nelson Cruz to give the Giants their first World Series in 52 years in 2010.
Okay, now that's not fair because he said one team, one sport. Because we're going to do that.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. I would love to have been with the 2000 Pittsburgh Steelers opposite of Hines Ward as a wide
There you
receiver.
go.
Ooh,
Okay.
Yeah. That would be a
Okay,
good one.
we're going to do that. I love Hines Ward. To play
I'll
opposite
take
of
your
him.
second choice too, because it is a hard choice though.
It is a hard choice.
I would have loved to play with DJ in the New York Yankees, and I would have loved to either played left field or right field.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I love that question, by the way.
Yeah, all you have
That's
to
a
be able
great
to do
question.
is hit the ball.
that's it.
Yeah, why not just be the designated hitter?
Oh, the DH, that would be fun.
Ooh, there you go. And then you can sit there in the dugout and watch the game, and just have to get up every so often to go smack the ball around a little bit, run around the bases.
That'd be awesome. To have that kind. Now, I would admit this, Josh. You're right. In any of those things that we selected, to have a front row view like that, to be in the moment, you couldn't get any better.
Yeah,
Good times.
yeah.
I could think
absolutely.
about that question the whole rest of the show if we really wanted to.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and come up with your top 10 list of. All right,
I
here's
would be
number one,
remiss
here's-
to ask, though, Tom, what would your
Yes.
answer be?
Yeah.
Well, of course, I would be a St. Louis Cardinal with the birds on bat jersey. I guess just today, anytime. I mean, the Cardinals have such a wonderful past, like the Yankees do. It would be fine, but
You want to play with the Wizard of Oz?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be fun to play with the Bob Gibson, Lou Brock, Joe Torre era. That would have been. That's probably my favorite era of Cardinals baseball. Though I did really love the '80s and Vince Coleman and Ozzie Smith and Willie McGee and Joe Morgan and all those guys. I mean, that was that was a great team, and they had a lot of fun. What was that? Bob Tewksbury, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, John Tudor.
Yep.
All those guys. So
As a Giants fan, my biggest, Jose Oquendo as well.
I use Jose Oquendo as a example at work often. That I need more Jose Oquendos, those people who can play in multiple positions and do multiple things.
Yeah.
And Jose Oquendo was famous for that. So,
Wow.
yeah. So yes, that would be my thing, and I loved hitting. I was an exceptional hitter. I was a horrible fielder. We would have to come up with a DH rule, back, to put me back in the 60s and 70s or something. But okay, we've got just a minute and a half, and I had another question here that I was gonna bounce off of you real quickly, but I've lost it. I guess I typed over it or something. I don't know, or I put it on a different script or something. But so I guess you're going to get. We'll give you a minute back here, and when we come back, what's next up on for the third quarter?
It is the Trey Ray.
Trey Reigns. Have we done that before? I think we have.
Maybe
All
that
right.
question got lost in the twilight zone.
It could be.
Oh, you should have ended with the music right there.
All right, guys, we're going to step out. This is the halftime show, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNC Radio.live. Stay right there.
Trucking Moves America Forward, or TMAF, is boosting the image of the industry by telling the story of trucking, and your story can be part of it. Upload a photo, tell us what you love about trucking, or send us a story about a good deed or charitable act in trucking. Be sure to follow us on social media and contact us through truckingmovesamerica.com. That's truckingmovesamerica.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Cortman, and now for the Mental Health Minute. In part one of this video, I told you the very endearing story of the splinter in the middle toe of my right foot and how it was successfully removed. And to me, that's an excellent analogy for post-traumatic stress disorder. What do I mean by that? Well, the very same system that contains the toe also contains the mind. And our system doesn't like intruders like a splinter or like a trauma. Those things need to be removed. But very often we don't remove them right away. After a trauma, instead of talking about it and dealing with it, we do our very best to bury it. In fact, one of the major symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder is avoidance. We do our best to not talk about it, not think about it, and do whatever we can to suppress the trauma. So what happens? With the toe, there was all this protective skin. Don't go near it because I'm going to protect it. And the mind does the same thing. Let's not go anywhere near it. You know, Vietnam veterans would say things to me like, I was in Vietnam and we don't talk about it. And what that does is keep the splinter embedded, continuing to give it power over the system. So what do we need to do? The splinter always needs to be removed. The trauma always needs to be dealt with. And that is to remember it, to feel it, to express it, and finally to release it. In my book, Keep Pain in the Past, I explain how we can deal with old, painful traumas and finally put them away for the first time and get on with our lives. Just like removing the splinter from my toe.
Gary'sApps.com is the destination for apps that helps gig workers be safer, more focused, and more proficient. The Maximo app, which is spelled M-A-X-Y-M-O, it helps Uber, Lyft, and Grubhub drivers by automatically switching between apps and turning them on or off as needed. For example, if a driver accepts an Uber trip, Maximo will turn off all the other apps that are online, and when the trip is completed, it'll turn the apps back on for the driver. It will also auto-accept or decline offers based on the driver's personal preferences that they set directly in Maximo. Find out more at Gary's Apps, G-A-R-Y-S apps.com for more information and download the apps you need today.
Yes, we are back. And I want to thank you guys for listening to Clutch Time Sports. You can always check us out on Instagram and, of course, Twitter at Clutch Time TNC. And you guys have to sometimes hear us off air because I think some of the conversations off air are really
That's a whole
exciting.
nother show.
It's a whole nother show.
That's where we get the license plate for the truck that ran over Ivan at the start of the second quarter. And, yeah, it's all kinds of fun stuff.
It's a great time. It's unscripted. Of course, this is never scripted, but it's really unscripted at that point. But, you know, we are sitting here at the third quarter. My time of the day. Sit back, relax, wind down a little bit, and laugh. Because in the last 4 years, we done won Trey Ranks.
So, Mr. Anderson, do you have your little glass of Cavassier there as well as you're sitting back and in your smoking jacket and your pipe and everything, just ready to enjoy this beautiful spring evening?
But
welcome, everybody.
Of course.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody, to Trey Rangs, the time of the show where we talk about three sports stories that have made us smile, made us laugh, or just, plain was weird, and not any of those in this category today. But Ivan, it's been a while since we talked about hockey. So how about we give a little love to the Boston Bruins, who just set the NHL record with their 64th win of the regular season, and last night got their 133rd point in the standings with a 5-2 win over the Washington Capitals. The Bruins broke the all-time record. I mean, this story is going to be it's not going to be long. It's just going to be full of facts, but the facts are astonishing. So the Bruins broke the all-time record, of course, for most points in a season, which is 132, set by the Montreal Canadiens in the 76-77 season. The records, of course, will have their caveats, as, of course, there are no more ties in the NHL like there was when Montreal had 12 of them in that season. But among all the records so far this year, they were the fastest team to 50 wins, and it only took them 64 games to get there. So they were 50 wins in those 64, and then 100 points only took them 61 games. And then they've gone 34, 4, and 3 at home this season. They're the first team since the 08-09 Sharks to lead their division from the very start to very finish of the entire regular season. And here's the one that really stood out to me. So they have a goal differential of plus 127, which is 57 ahead of their second closest competitor, which is the New Jersey Devils. So we have a team here in Anaheim, not too far from where we live, who are stinking to high heaven this year. They've gone so far south for the winter that it doesn't even bear credence to what they've done. But in comparison to the Bruins, who have a plus 127 goal differential, the Ducks have a negative 127 goal differential. A 254 goal difference between those two teams. So major props to the Boston Bruins, who probably don't get enough love nationally around the country with what they've been doing. So that is rang number one. Rang number two is we finally gotten through every MLB home opener. We reflect on the majesty that is the all-important ceremonial first pitch. And, of course, I'm sure as soon as I say that, there are visions in your brain that go to certain first pitches, because we've seen some great ones in the past. And when I say great, of course, I'm doing air quotes as I say that. In Cleveland, however, this last weekend, Kansas City Super Bowl champion tight end Travis Kelce and his mom Donna, who are both Cleveland Heights, Ohio natives, threw out ceremonial first pitches. Well, Travis spiked his first pitch on the grass about halfway between the mound and the plate and scared the bejesus out of all Guardians fans who thought he was going to take out their ace starting pitcher, Shane Bieber, who was acting as the catcher. Now, he didn't do this on purpose. He wasn't pretending that the baseball was a football in his hand when he spiked it. He just muffed it up. But not surprisingly, Patrick Mahomes, Kelce's quarterback, was pretty amused and trolled him on Twitter and asked for the Kansas City Royals to give him another chance ASAP so he'll have some redemption. And if Kelce were smart, he'd probably actually ask Mahomes for some sort of tip, since he, of course, was selected by the Detroit Tigers in the 37th round of the 2014 MLB draft before going full-time into football. But, yeah, nice job, Travis Kelce. Some not so great moves on that one. And by the way, score update, Bulls 105, Raptors 102 with 28 seconds left in that game. So loser is out. Winner goes to Miami for the final play-in game. Okay, rank number 3. More hockey, you say, Ivan? Okay. All right, why not? So, in a weekend full of Easter fun, with the Masters, the NBA ending its regular season, and so much more, perhaps the coolest story, and yes, pun was intended, was the show put on in the Frozen Four in Minnesota. The men's Division I NCAA Collegiate Hockey Championship was captured for the first time by Quinnipiac University in a thrilling 3-2 overtime win. Sophomore Jacob Quillen won the faceoff to start overtime for the Bobcats, and then defenseman Zach Metza found forward Sam Lipkin with a long pass into the zone, and then Quillen, who won the faceoff, cut to the net on a set play, and with some pretty nifty stick handling, he was able to score past Minnesota goaltender Justin Close for the winner 10 seconds into overtime. Minnesota was the number 1 ranked team in the nation, whose roster is full of NHL drafted players. And they were looking for their 6th title in history, but the Bobcats used kind of a bit of moxie and pulled their goalie with 3:28 left in regulation on a power play to have a 2-man advantage to score the game-tying goal to send it into overtime, which they've got the game winner 10 seconds into overtime. So Quinnipiac, Ivan, don't look it up. Where is that school located?
Quinnipiac?
Quinnipiac, yep.
I'm going to give you 2 states. And this is why I think it's going to be funny, because I'm going to go real crazy. I'm going to say either... No, let me get 3. I'm going to say New York, Minnesota, or I'm going to go crazy and say Tennessee.
Connecticut, Hamden, Connecticut.
Okay.
They have an enrollment of only 10,000 students or thereabout. And it sounds certainly like a movie in the making to me. So we end our Trey Ranks tonight with a question for you, Mr. Anderson and Mr. Kelly. What is your favorite non-fiction sports movie of all time? What is a sports movie based on true events that is your favorite of all time? Oh, I heard Tom already getting ready to pull the trigger.
Okay. I honestly have to say 42.
Okay, that's a great answer. That was 4 of them that I wrote down as possible answers, even for myself. 42 was fantastic.
Best Jackie Robinson docudrama I've ever seen.
Good movie. Very good movie. But if you want to talk about the best movie of anything like that, you got to go back to Brian's Song.
I was going to say that.
Another
based
great
off
movie.
of Gail Sayers' book, I Am Third.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
Brian's Song, I mean, I don't care what kind of man you are. If you're not weeping at the end of that movie, you're made of stone, dude. A stone.
Yeah.
See, this is kind of like the question from Kelly's Corner. I'm curious as to the subjective answers to this, because again, it's another way to get to know all of us. And I mean, as Ivan knows, I tend to be kind of I don't want to say a jokester, but I like to laugh and I like things that are funny. I mean, as much as I like 42, that was one of 4 movies that I wrote down. I didn't write Brian's Song down, but that's a great one that I guess I didn't think of. Some serious ones that I really liked. Miracle was a great one with Kurt Russell.
Yep.
About the 80 U.S. hockey team.
Yep.
Rudy was another good one.
Yeah.
Really, I just enjoyed that story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some great acting in it for sure. One of them that I still like to this day, that I still find funny and entertaining, is Cool Runnings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in the 90s, talking about the Jamaican bobsled team, but there are so many good.
The one about Marshall. Was it called Marshall? The movie was called Marshall? I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, man, Marshall was sad.
Shoo.
Oof.
Fantastic.
That was a hard movie.
That was a fantastic movie.
If you want to go classic, 12 Angry Men is another good one.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
No. You're thinking about 8 Men Out.
Or sorry, 8 Men Out.
8 Men Out, yes.
12 Angry Men was Henry Fonda and a jury. So
Yes,
also
sorry.
a great movie, by the way.
8 Men Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the White Sox.
How about the Billy Miles story, Running Brave?
There are a lot of
Did you ever see that?
good.
It was really good.
If we're going to go there, then you got to go to the Oscar winner. There's only one sports movie based on a true story that's won the Best Picture.
Let me guess, Rudy?
No.
No.
Do you know what it is?
No, I really don't.
Here, let me pull up the opening theme here.
Let's hear the theme.
Here you go. You ready?
Let's go for it.
The only sports movie based on a true story that ever won the Best Picture winner is. So I got a lot of stuff open right now. So here we go.
In the Twilight Zone. Suspense.
Dead air.
Listen.
Oh,
Yes, Chariots of Fire.
Chariots of Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgot about that one.
Yeah. So if you want to go
My
back,
dad loved that movie.
Yeah. And Vangelis wrote a score that just blew everybody away. And I mean, who thought that watching a bunch of guys in 1920s garb running on a beach in slow motion could be entertaining? And it was incredibly entertaining.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you the greatest fictional sports movie for me. It's between two of them. One, and it wouldn't be in any order, but it would be Hoosiers or The Natural.
Okay.
Fictional.
Not Space Jam?
Neither one of them.
Everybody get up.
LeBron's wasn't that good, but at least he could act. And Michael's version was a little bit better, but he couldn't act.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but
Good thing they both had good co-stars.
Yeah. All right, guys, it's time for a break. So
Really?
I guess we need to do that. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCRadio.live's Clutch Time Sports. Stay right there.
Hi, I'm Charlie Claiborne, and I'm excited to join the TNC Radio.live family. You can hear my show, Highway Fever, on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right after Mind Your Trucking Business. One quick question. What have you done today to make trucking better for tomorrow? Join me, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, right after Mind Your Trucking Business on Highway Fever.
This info blog on TNCRadio.live is brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net. ISS score for truck drivers explained and how to find it. An inspection selection system score is called ISS score, was created by the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, FMCSA, to help law enforcement officers determine if the truck should be inspected. The inspection selection system score is frequently used to determine if your truck will receive a bypass command or not. There is often confusion between the ISS score and the CSA score. While there's a correlation between the two, they're not the same thing. The CSA score identifies high-risk motor carriers. The score is based on the performance data of the driver. The ISS score uses a combination of different CSA categories known as Behavior Analysis and Safety Improvement Category. That's BASICS for short, to determine the carrier's overall inspection rating from 0 to 100. Similar to the CSA score, the lower, the better. What determines your ISS inspection value? Unsafe driving, hours of service, HOS, driver fitness, controlled substances and alcohol, vehicle maintenance and cargo, hazardous material. There are 3 different ISS ratings categories: inspect, optional, or pass. Inspect, 75 to 100. Optional, 50 to 74. Pass, 1 to 49. ISS scores can determine how often you'll get inspected. Although some roadside inspections are at random times, most will be as a result of a higher ISS score. How to find ISS score. The FMCSA has an online portal where carriers can log in to check their ISS scores. You'll log in using your DOT-issued PIN. From there, you'll see the company information section on the main screen. Next, click the blue button labeled Inspection Selection System Info. This info blog was brought to you by the Truckers Network at app.thetruckersnetwork.net.
Catch Landline Now every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, along with an encore presentation weekdays at noon, right here on TNCRadio.live.
Well, we're back, everybody. No, I didn't want to do that voice, but I just tried it out.
Ooh, what's
Welcome
that?
back to TNC. Radio.live, you listen to Clutch Time Sports. And we had something like we were just talking about. We have a lot of fun off air. And so Mr. Kelly just went to the archives to bring up something unique.
Yeah, so it was 29 years ago this week when Jim Everett and Jim Rome got into it. Jim Rome was only 29 years old, didn't have any facial hair, and picks a fight with Jim Everett at the beginning of a show. The whole thing takes just about a minute, and we'll listen to this.
Jim, good to have you on the show.
Good to be here, Jim. Thank you.
Check that. Chris Everett, good to have you on the show.
You know what? You've been calling me that for about the last 5 years.
About 2 years, actually, Chris.
Well, hey, you know what? Let me say one thing. In that game, how many sacks did I have that we came back and won?
How many sacks did you
How
have?
How many sacks?
Well, see, but this was back in 1989.
Okay, that was
See,
about
you may
six.
have even been Jim Everett back there, but somewhere along the way, Jim, you ceased being Jim and you became Chris.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. That, we're sitting here right now, and if you guys want to take a station break, you can. But if you call me Chris Everett to my face one more time...
I already did it twice.
You call it one more time, we better take a station break.
Well, it's a 5-minute segment, or 5-segment show. We got a long way to go.
Well, we do.
We got a long way to go.
We do.
I'll get a couple segments out of
Well,
you
it's
before.
good to be here with you, though.
Well, it's good to see you,
because
too.
you've been talking like this behind my back for a long
But
time.
now I said it right here.
Right, exactly.
Well, we got no problems then.
I think that you probably won't say it again.
I bet I do.
Okay.
Chris?
And so then it goes down.
And by the way, I know the viewers or the listeners at home can't see what we're seeing on this clip, but just seeing the old school ESPN2 logo,
Yes.
I mean, so 90s. And, full disclosure, both Ivan and I worked as interns for Up Close, which is a similar, type talk show to what Jim Rome was doing at the time in the mid-90s. But we could spend a whole nother show talking about different things that we've seen. I mean, my internship, I think, was just over 6 months. I don't know how long yours was, Ivan, roughly. But, I mean, it just... The backstage stories of all these things. Yeah, you see that stuff on TV, but there's a lot of stuff behind those curtains you don't see every day either.
Well, what you didn't see if you were listening in was, and if you don't remember this, that's just as well. But so he called him Chris, and Jim Everett stood up, tossed the table aside like if it was made out of cardboard. And it's actually a pretty sturdy looking table, but he and grabbed Rome and just put him on his back, and he could have hurt him if he wanted to.
Seriously,
he could have hurt him.
Seriously,
but but he didn't.
Josh, you gonna start singing for us?
I was wondering what key we were going to be singing in there for a second.
Yeah, he could have. And, the funny thing that you show that clip really kind of segues perfectly into what I wanted to talk about this last quarter was, I know it's Damon Lillard dealing with Game Time, and the way these sports broadcasters, you live in a world of dang if you do, dang if you don't. Now, we talk about players jumping teams and doing this and doing that. Here's a guy who is really faithful to his team, the Portland Trailblazers. And all you hear right now are commentators dogging him for not leaving, for not chasing a ring. And I wanted to bring this up tonight because one of the things I'm really tired of is everybody thinking that everybody's going to win a ring in professional sports. Just getting to professional sports is hard, but then being the best of the best and actually winning a championship is even harder. And I know if I'm Dame, I'd love to have an opportunity to be like Chris Everett and knock somebody out, because I just get sick and tired of the conversation of, if I do this, you have something to say. If I don't do this, you have something to say. So...
Well, and it kind of goes to the culture even within the entire NBA right now. I mean, we've got the play-in tournaments already starting, but I mean, you've got a guy that in Lillard who is pretty mature in understanding what he wants, whether it is to win a championship, because if you're not a professional athlete and your goal is to not win a championship, then there's something wrong with you. So I mean,
exactly,
being in Portland and trying to do it there, I have no issue with that whatsoever. But he's at least mature about it and knows what needs to happen, and whether or not he has full control of that, that's another story. But we go back to what we saw last night with the Timberwolves and what had happened with Rudy Gobert and Kyle Anderson on Sunday afternoon, knowing that they had to win that game, which they still did. But they go and Rudy Gobert throws a punch at his teammate, and then he's got an immature teammate, Jared Vanderbilt, who goes and slams a wall after being frustrated over a foul. I mean, it's just an interesting dynamic as to how teams are built, how you think that you can create chemistry. That's why when you look at a team like the Warriors, for instance, nobody wants to be a bigger agitator than Draymond Green, but everybody would want him on their team, like Dennis Rodman was with the Bulls. Nobody ever wants to play that guy, but would they want him on your team? Absolutely, 100%. And the continuity that Steph and Clay and Draymond have brought to a team like the Warriors over these last 10 years almost is pretty unparalleled in the NBA right now. And I don't see another team like that right now that is mature enough to where we can look at them and go, you know what? They've got all of it and the culture and everything that I am almost certain that we're going to see them in the NBA Finals.
Well, the thing that I do admire about the Warriors, and I have a respect for all great teams because it's so hard to do it. They're doing something that even Chicago Bulls were willing to do, and that's just run it out.
Yeah.
Do it until you can't do it any longer.
Right.
Let time tell you it can no longer happen. Don't try to get ahead of time and try to fix things and move things, because you said the key word, and that's chemistry. It takes a long time to build chemistry. It doesn't come natural. It's something that's developed, and just kind of you plant the seeds and it grows. And
like the 25 years of chemistry that you and I have.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
And it's funny because I want to bring a little apology to all of the Tampa Bay Ray fans out there, by the way, who I mocked to say that they would not go 162-0 this season. They might. They won again today. They won again today. They're 12-0. But you know what they're doing right now? They're building that chemistry.
Yes.
This is a young team that, yes, they're playing probably the worst teams in all of Major League Baseball, but they're destroying these teams right now, and it's really fun to watch. I'll be honest.
I have nothing wrong with the Devil Rays doing exactly what they're doing. I have absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I was looking at that earlier, like, wow, they're 11-0. Okay, I know they have a bad starting record, but just because you have a bad starting record, even a broke clock is right twice a day. So somebody should be picked up a win somewhere, but they're just rolling through it. I like the way they've started. Wouldn't it be funny if we start talking? Wouldn't it be fun if we talk about them in the postseason?
You never know. I mean, it's not like they haven't been there anytime soon. So, I mean, they somehow keep finding a way, just like we have for this last hour of entertaining all of you on the road. And we hope that you'll join us next week. You like this transition I'm doing, by the way?
I love it.
I'm downshifting as we're running out of time here on Clutch Time Sports. Yeah, you like that?
Yeah.
Please join us again next week, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern, Clutch Time Sports right here on TNCRadio.live. Good night, everybody.
Good night.